All right, welcome everyone today to our Carnival Groups 101. So, why we book groups? How are they profitable for us? And just going over some of the bare bone basics of why groups. So, go ahead and get this pulled up. So, first things we need to know about groups, and this is going to be Carnival Groups in particular. Each cruise line has its own groups program with a little bit of different perks, a little bit of different rules, regulations. So let's dive in. First off, I want to introduce myself. I'm Brian Yates. I'm the double silver uh, agent from Team Elevate and Team Sky, and I'm also the team leader of Team Tidal Wave. I've been with the company for about 4 years now. All right, so first off, let's look at our staterooms. So, for those of you that don't know, this is going to be a gist of your staterooms. This is not an exact science because like I said, each ship has its own, each cruise line has its own. But normally, this is about the range. So, you're going to have at least 4 different types of cabins that you're going to be able to offer to your guest. First one is going to be your interior cabins. These are going to be normally a little bit smaller. There's no window. These are going to be more affordable. You've got your ocean view. These are going to be normally a little bit larger square footage, but you're also going to have your ocean view room, your ocean view window. Now, with ocean view, you can have an obstructive view ocean view. You can have a porthole, or you can just have a regular unobstructed view ocean view. Now, I will tell you, I am a huge fan, if I'm getting a ocean view room, of a porthole room, because a porthole room is priced similar to an interior with a little bit of a price hike. It's not a lot. My absolute favorite is going to be the balcony cabins. These are going to be a little bit more pricey, but you have your own private oasis, your own private area of the ship that you can see. And then you're going to have your suites. Suites are in a class of their own. You're going to have your separate living areas, especially on the newer ships. On some of the other lines, you may even have an entire separate bedroom. It all just depends on what line you're on. But with Carnival, depending on the suite, Carnival has some that has a complete separate bedroom. Just depends on if you're in a regular suite or if you're in that captain's or owner's suite. So that's just a little bit about the rooms. So let's dive in to a group. So there are 3 different types of groups. You have an affinity group, a holiday selling, and an open promotion. What are these and why does it matter? Well, these are for 3 completely different types of groups. So an affinity group, it's going to be a special travel group built around common interest or identity, such as club, organization, hobbies, social communities. So I book more affinity groups than I do anything. I normally do a group cruise for all of my clients normally every other year. I book it as an affinity group. The reason being is I have the capability to add in perks that I can give back to my clients just for booking this, and we normally get a better price. Holiday selling. So these are going to be around major holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. Theme decor. So that one pretty much explains itself. Now, open promotion. So this is going to be a publicly available travel offer that anyone can book, typically including discounted fares, amenities. These I don't tend to book near as much on your open promotions. I like to stick with my affinity program. And the reason I like to stick to the affinity is because, yes, it has a few restrictions, but I normally see more return out of my affinity group. So that's what we're going to focus on mostly today, but I will answer questions at the end on the others if y'all have any. So why it matters. So every group, they all unlock different things. They all have the affinity program has where you can go in and buy points. Now, yes, the points do make a difference in the price of the rooms. We're going to go into that in a walkthrough here in just a moment. So let's go a little bit deeper. So why do we book a group instead of a lot of people coming in as individual cabins? So 1 in 15, so if you sell 15 full fares, you're going to get what's known as a tour conductor credit, especially for Carnival. What is a tour conductor credit? A tour conductor credit is going to be the average fare. So if you've got one room as a balcony and you're in that balcony and you're the tour conductor on this sailing, like with my groups, with my Yates Travel group, I'm the tour conductor. So for every 15 full fare passengers, I get one free berth. So that's one free person. Now that's an average. So if I have one balcony and all the rest of them are going to be interior, they're going to take all those rooms, average them out, and that's going to be what that comes out to. So again, look at it this way. If it's 1 in 15, you get one fare or one berth. If you get 30 full price or full fare guests, you're going to get two, which is basically means that you're paying taxes and port fees for one cabin. Now, if you've got a group that you've got sailing, and you've got, let's say we've got 15 or 16 cabins, so at double occupancy, that's 32 people at full fare. I want y'all to put it in the chat. What would y'all do with that free room? To have anybody with a guest, would you take it? I mean, if this is one of your guests, not one that you're putting together. Okay. You can raffle it off. There you go. Ramona says she's going with them. You can do either one of those, raffling it off, or what I normally try to do is, now with my Yates Travel group that I do every 2 years, I normally go in and add a few things back to the group. But if it's for one of my clients, I normally gift this to the group leader. The reason being, I've already got somebody that's bringing me groups. If I give it to the group leader, then the group leader is then going to turn around, and the next time they book a group, they're not going anywhere else besides coming to me. So therefore, I'm working retention there. It's not costing me anything. Or I can take that as bonus commission. So with groups with Carnival, the payment is after the sailing. The reason being, Carnival doesn't start processing group sailings until after the sailing has completed. Like I said, each line is different, but most lines with a group sailing, and the reason being is because normally you're going to have at least 8 cabins. They want to make sure everybody sails. So what are some other perks? You get more savings, less hassle for the lead booker. You get reduced deposits, and you can go in and block off cabins. Like you can block off so many ocean views, so many interior, so many balcony cabins. You can add onboard credit, beverage discounts, and private events. And you're going to be the dedicated group specialist, but you also have the dedicated group line with Carnival. You can also go in and set up with the dining package through groups to where you can select where they will give you options basically. So you're not going to be able to select where in the dining room, but you're going to be able to go in and select more or less of, okay, we want this table and this one, because the last group I did, they gave me options because we had a handicap accessible in the group, and I was able to go in and pick between 3 options and split the group up between multiple tables, since we did have way more people than we had the availability. You can also go in and set this up with the last cruise. I didn't have everybody at the same dining time. You can go in and move certain people out of the group into their own dining, and we have some that want to do that. All right, so let's go in and talk about fun points. What are fun points? What a fun point is Carnival will allow you, when you're setting up your group, to allot how many fun points you have. With those fun points, you get to choose what you want to use them for. So you can use them for champagne and chocolates, premium wines, private cocktail parties, onboard credit. You can even go in and the list just goes on and on. I have that list pulled up and I'm going to show you how to find it here in just a moment. Or you can flex your points. What I mean by flex, you can take out to where there are no amenity points at all, which is going to lower the price, which is going to be the lowest price you can get for the group. But you're going to cut off all the free onboard credit. You're going to cut off the champagne and chocolates. You're going to cut off any of the extra perks that you can give them. I normally try to add in a few amenity points because you're going to get more bang for your buck with those amenity points. So, first off, that we need to do is when we're getting all this set up and when we're talking to the group leader, we need to make sure that we have their wants and needs in mind. So budget, if they're looking for a budget friendly, they're looking for more of an interior room, ocean view, it's going to be a little bit more costly, but it's going to give them, just that fresh air feel. Or if they actually want fresh air, you're going to be going for that balcony, and then you've got the suites are going to be the luxury, and you may have all of that in one booking. I quite often normally do. So sell the experience, dining, shows, pools, youth clubs, all are included for every guest aboard. So use those to your advantage when you're marketing this. Make sure you're adding in the things that are included. So in order for your amenity points to count, Carnival has where there's a different second. Carnival has to where there's a certain number of rooms that are required for different things. And we're going to go over that here in just a moment. But for the most part, most of theirs is a 5 cabin minimum. If you go below the 5 cabins, you're going to lose all the amenity points. Most of them are 7 to 8 cabins to keep them, are 7 to 8 cabins, but to book, but you have to have a minimum of 5 rooms that sell in order to keep those. So be very cautious whenever you're booking these to make sure that you're going to hit the threshold on what you've got selected so that you don't promise something that doesn't end up coming through. All right, so that concludes the presentation part of it. So let's dive in. I'm going to refresh this just to make sure, and it's going to make me sign back in. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is sign into our GoCCL. Then we're going to go down to book and we're going to do groups. All right, we're going to select our date range. So I'm going to go in and set this up for a date range beginning in October. Again, I do my affinity groups more than I do anything else. As I'm filling this out, it's filtering the rest of it. So where do we want to leave from? Me personally, that's more important than anything. Most of my guests want to leave from somewhere close to home. So for us, it's going to be Mobile or New Orleans. So let's select New Orleans. And then it's going to show me I have 2 options. I have the Carnival Liberty or the Carnival Valor. We're going to do the Carnival Valor, which is the ship I did my last group cruise on. And as you see, it tells me it's a 2 to 5 day sailing. So if I select that, and I can hit search. All right. So with this, it's going to show us the dates that are available. So again, here we have an October 8th, 12th, 17th, 22nd, 26th, and 31st. The next thing is going to show us how many days the sailing is. And then we have our rates. So let's go ahead. We're going to actually create one today. And we're going to select this one that sells October 12th. It's a 5-day sailing. I'm just going to hit select. All right. Now, when we're setting these up, always, always, always set up a PIN number. So when you do, key in a PIN number that works for you. Okay. You can set up a group name. So I'm going to go in and put in as training because I'll cancel this here shortly. So then we're going to go into our fun points. So it's going to give us 4 fun points. Now I can go up to 11 fun points, but I want you to watch something. You see the rooms are starting at 484, right? Let's go up to 11 fun points. Calculate. The room is now 519. As you see, the more fun points I add, the more the price goes up. So let's just go ahead and let's give them about 5. All right, so we've got 5. We're at 489. If you have a question on any part of this, you can go in and hover over it. It's going to show you what the information it's asking for is. So again, I'm going to key it. We're going to put in a phone number. Okay, I'm just keying in a phone number there. That's going to be my phone number normally. But then select passenger count for the drop down. Okay, so that's just asking how many passengers we want per room. I do 2, but here's where it gets fun. Then we need to go in and select how many staterooms we have. It's only showing us here that we can do interior cabins. So unfortunately, it's not going to let us add those into this at that time. But we need at least 8 cabins. And then I'm going to save and continue. All right, let's see if it'll take without me actually putting in my phone number. All right, there it goes. Let's try to save again. You've entered an invalid. All right, let's just see if it'll let it go without it. All right. So when I took out the alternate phone number, it actually let us go through. So you'll agree to the terms and conditions and confirm the booking. All right, so this booking is live, and we have 30 days to make a deposit. The deposit is $25 per person within the next 30 days. All right, so let's see and show you how to find this. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this. And if you were going back in from the beginning, you would select booking, group booking, and we're going to key in that group booking number that we just created and hit search. And as we see, since I had just signed in, it's not going to ask me for the password again. But, all right, we've got these 4 rooms, but I've got somebody that wants a ocean view or somebody that wants a balcony, right? How do we do that? So what we do is we see down here where it says birth guests. You select birth guests. And as you see, we don't have any inventory for ocean view or balcony in the group. But, and if it was available, we could have selected it on the previous screen. But here we can go in and bring them in. We've got ocean view and balconies here and here. Now, the only thing you've got to watch is we're going to select this one. And we're just going to select a quick quote real quick. What we need to make sure of is it will say in the breakdown if this is combinable with a group. If it's not, it will list. So with this cabin, there's a $100 deposit currently on it. If you went through the actual group tab, okay, we can quick quote this out. And as you see, there's a $300 deposit. So a lot of times you need to watch those because a lot of clients are going to come in and want that cheaper deposit. Just make sure that that cheaper deposit has price protection on it, so therefore you can price protect it at a later time. Okay? But again, all we have to do is if we want to go in and actually book the room, we select our stateroom, continue, and we're going through the normal process here. So I'm going to go in and key in some information. I'll have to cut this off. All right. We're just going to key in some information here. And again, all I'm doing is keying in the guest information at this point. Again, you have the option to add Carnival Vacation Protection. Now, remember, with Carnival, we don't get paid for their vacation protection. We can offer 10 leg, and then you have the option to add gratuities into the booking. All right. It's reminding us of the smoking policy. Again, we can go through and select our dining. And right now it's only allowing late dining. And then we can start interlinking the bookings. So with interlinking the bookings for the group, that means that we're going to be able to make sure that certain people sit together at dining. That's all it's there for. And then I'm going to agree to the terms and conditions that I've read out to the guest. And I'm going to hold and confirm. I'm just going to put this on a quick hold so it shows you how the group actually works. Okay. So as we see here, I can send a payment link to the guest. The commission on this one room is going to be $80. And depending on your package, you get to keep between 50 and 80% of that. So let's go back to the group. So since I have one room already taken, I can run reports now. So whenever you make your payment to the group within the 30 days, you actually make the payment and you're going to make it here. That's going to hold the group. In a second. Make a payment. There it goes. All right, so I can make a payment and go directly to the group by just unselecting that, telling it how much I want to make. And as you see, the number here, that's not the room number. That's the actual. No, one cabin does not hold the group booking. So this booking number here is the actual group booking number. And we have to make a $25 per person payment within the next 30 days to hold the group. We're going to go over in just a second on how to actually see what you have coming up. But that's how you make the payment. You would go in, tell it how much, proceed to payment, and then you would actually process the payment. So you can do this multiple ways. You can go in and let the group leader pay it. You can go in and let each person know that they've got 30 days and they can send, you can put it in here and do it in individual. You can for the actual rooms, but for this, no. You're going to have to process the payment on your side. If it's my group, so what I use my group for is I use it to grow my business because I try to keep the price low And therefore, I give my clients an incentive to bring in family and friends. And then they're going to get perks and other things to make it more bang for their buck. So, what I normally do is I will process this and pull this out of my pocket. I don't have to, but I do because I don't want to worry about that 30-day hold. I do that. And then what I do is after I get everybody booked in, I transfer that money that I paid here to my room because I'm selling with them. Okay. So we're not going to be making a payment to this right now. So we're going to back and return to the group. All right. So if you were wanting to make a payment to the cabin itself, you can go to guest list. And this is the booking for that one cabin we just made. We click the booking number and it takes us into that booking to where we can send a payment link. Okay. But let's go back to the group because there's lots of things that we can show you about a group. So with an affinity group, Carnival has very strict rules on sharing out the pricing. The reason being is you're getting a price cut on this. So they're not going to fight you for clients. In other words, you can't go into Facebook and go room starting at $489. You can tell people you've got a group cruise and bring them in. Now, if you're going to like a fall festival or something like that, you can make flyers with Canva or whatever program you want, and you can distribute them there with the pricing. But let's look at the cancellation policy. So with the group, all right, so it's telling me I have to have $150 per person paid by July 31st, 2026. 50% by August 20th, 75% for September 15th, and 30% are full penalty at September 30th. Now, this is a group selling in October. So this is this year. That's the reason these are so, and the limitations are there as I meant to click next year. But your complimentary policy, 8 cabins, double occupancy of 16. So one berth for every 15. So that's going to give you and tell you what that is. Now let's look at say you wanted to pull the group contract up. Okay. Let's go into reports and do group detailed workup. I'm going a little bit detailed for this for y'all because I like to be able to know what I'm looking at and how to see. So this is going to run a group workup of every room and everything in the group booking. So as it shows you here, this will also show you your tour conductor credit will show up here. And so will everything else. So it'll show you how many payments you've made, additionals, transfers, prepaid gratuities, anything that's been added in will show here. So let's exit out of this. We've also, if I can hit the right button tonight, it'd be great. We can also do statement of group request. What that's going to do is that's going to actually pull the contract. It's going to take it a moment to load, but it's going to go in, excuse me. And it's actually going to load in everything you have that's included with this. And I do apologize. It normally takes these just a moment to load. All right. So again, attention, Brian Yates, Archer Travel Group. Shows the group name is training, and it goes through and the terms, the conditions. It gives you all the information about the guest change, about like name changes, anything else, and your amenity points. So this is going to give you everything you need to know about the contract. Okay. It does state here that Carnival does reserve the right to increase the published fares. Again, this works just like it does with a normal cruise booking. Whenever you actually deposit the room is locked in. So I just wanted to show y'all how to get that information. Does it list your commission? So it will actually, on the first report I ran for the group detail workup, it will actually, each room you add in, it will total up your commission. So the total commission shows on the first report here, and it will total it up for you. Okay. It's also going to show you here if you have any unallocated cash. So what unallocated cash is, or unallocated credit card. So when you put when the deposit goes down for the group, you're going to have, it's going to show up here in your unallocated, because that's going to be at a group level. And after you've gotten everybody in, you can remove those, because that's going to remove the hold on the excess rooms that you've got held. All right, so let's look at our fun points. So we can edit the booking. I can remember how to get in to do this. All right, so say we want to see what the fun points are, or what we can spend them on. So where it says fun point flex price, just click it. It's going to open up this document. So this document is going to go in and tell you about what fun points are and flex pricing. We'll go through, and it's going to open up this table. So this table is going to show you the minimum number of staterooms that are required for that gift, and how many fun points it takes on how many days selling. So this is a 5-day selling, so we're going to look at the 5-day mark. So if we wanted for the Bon Voyage champagne and chocolates to be delivered to each cabin, it would cost us 2 points for a 5-day, or 1 point for a 7-day. Again, everything is listed here. Now, as you see, there are some that are the premium private cocktail party. It's taking 50 rooms to get it. The group photo is 25 staterooms. And this just shows you what you can actually use your points for. If you roll down here to the bottom, you can even use them for bonus commission. But with a group, using these amenity points for things for the guests are going to go in and help you show value for this group. Because on my last group that I did last year, we actually had the going rate was exactly what we were. But with the amenity points that we had built into that price, we were getting a bottle of champagne and chocolates. We were getting a shared cocktail party. We were getting $25 in onboard credit per stateroom. We were getting the tote bag. All that was included for the exact same price that somebody could find it and book it through carnival.com, or any other agent can pull it up. So therefore, my group was getting all these extra things for the same price. So that's the reason I choose to spend my points back to the group. If you want to actually use them, see if it will let me do it, since this is a there it goes. All right. So let me back it up to show you. I didn't think it was going to let me. So you can modify the booking here. And see, as I hover, it says I can increase my request, I can decrease my request, and I can modify my amenities. So let's modify our amenities, because the amenities do have to, so your fun points have to be spent before final payment. So according to what it currently has, we have 5 available fun points. 0 points have been reserved. But all we have to do is roll down the list. So we can do the Bon Voyage. Okay, let's see what else is here. The big hit for my groups normally are going to be this right here, the champagne and chocolates. This is going to be on embarkation day, and we're going to put 1. So see, it told me I'd have spent 2 points, which means I have 3 additional points left to spend. So let's see what else we can do. We can do 1 point here, and that's going to spend 1 more point, but that's going to be the shared cocktail party. And that's a 45-minute limited open bar that your guests can enjoy. The cruise line does set all this up. So therefore, you're not going to know until you get on board. But each guest that qualify will get an invitation to this party. So with that, we have 2 amenity points left. So just to save time, we can do 1 bottle of white, 1 bottle of red. Oh, sorry. So 1 bottle of white or red wine, that's taking us to where all of our amenity points are used. So I want to save and continue. And see, now they show up under our fun points and our amenity. So therefore, we selected them. Say we needed to go in and we had an extra family that we didn't intend on booking. We can modify the booking and increase the request. So we can take this up to 15 cabins. It's not going to let me add that many. So let's see if I can add 2. So I'm just going to add 2 more rooms. So save and continue. You'll notice this 8 will turn into a 10. We may have to refresh. If you ever have a problem whenever you're needing to do this, you can always call Carnival Groups, because sometimes the system does not seem to work the greatest. So again, we can look at history, but let's go in and say we're going to berth another cabin. Okay. But we want to berth a 4-person cabin this time. Well, if you'll notice, as soon as I tell it 4, the group price goes away. Actually, it's still there this time. They fixed the glitch. All right. Used to, whenever we went in and we went above, because it was based on a 2-person occupancy, it would actually remove the group pricing. But as you see, this sell and save is actually a cheaper price. But the only thing left are interior rooms. So again, we're just going to hold this. We can quick quote it and send it out to the guest if we choose to. Again, $85 commission on this room, and that's because these rooms are cheaper. But all we have to do is we can do this, and we can send it directly to the guest from here, or what I normally do is I send it to myself. Give it just a moment to come through. And it'll come through just like a normal booking, and I can forward this to the client. Put a little message in here. Here's the quote for your upcoming cruise that you requested for the group sailing. However you want to word it. And it sends them this. But like I said, I normally like to do it from my email, just so that therefore they don't try to go directly to Carnival. All right. Again, if they're ready to book, we just select that, the price. It's going to show up where the rooms are available. Now, if we needed connecting rooms, we could do connecting. I'm just going to select another room. And again, like I said, I'm just with groups. The first time you set one up, I would highly recommend going through groups, because you can call, they'll set it up. And again, all we're doing is filling out the guest information. Okay. But I want to show you one piece to the group, and I'll do that as soon as we're done with this one, that I find extremely helpful. And as y'all see, I'm actually putting these on hold, and once the training is over, I'll actually remove everything. All right, so we've got this room, we've got the 4 persons, we've got our dining time set, and we're just going to put this one on hold. And it's not going to let me. It figured out that I was the same person. Yep. So that's the reason it did it that way. But let's go back into the group real quick. I'm just going to exit out of here, go back in, and we're going to manage our group booking. Okay. So say we've got 8 cabins held at double occupancy. The easiest way to do this is say you're booking a cabin for mom and dad. They want to be right next door or right down the hall from the kids or the grandkids. You can go in to your guest list. You can do this inside and outside of groups, by the way. Select the cabin that you want to clone. Go all the way to the bottom and clone booking. That is pulling the stateroom. That is pulling everything from the previous. All you do is select the fare, and continue. And you can go in, select a different category room if you'd like to, but then therefore you can go in and actually select the very next room or however you want to do it. So, and like I said, I'm just keying in some information. We'll see if it'll take it this time. Oops. I'm used to spinning this wheel to get down to my date of birth, but not that way. All right. Again, we do the dining time. We can actually link the other rooms together from the list because all you have to do is key in and you can even add more and you can just keep adding. Okay, let's see if it'll let me put this one on hold. All right, so now we have this room set on hold as well. It's a $100 deposit. So we go back to our group, and this is going to take us back to our master page. Now, as you see, we now have a secondary line that pulls up. That's because we added a room that was outside of the group. We've got one room inside the group, one room outside. Now, both of these rooms still count towards your group limit or your group inventory. So, again, we can run reports, and this is the reason I wanted to do this, just to show you where the group comes in for your commissions and other things on that report. If I would select the right report, it would be great. So report, group detail workup, and I do apologize. All right, so as you see now, the total commissions are up to 100, almost 160 bucks. 2 rooms, took us very little bit of time. So that is Groups 101. Does anybody have any questions, anything you want me to go back over, show you? Now remember, while y'all are thinking and typing. Just because you've got the group, you can go in and do group accommodations at the hotel the night before, 2 nights before. You can do group transportation. You can do group shore excursions, do Viator. You've got lots of options you can do to make extra income with this. I know we actually, on our last group cruise, we ran the Amtrak from Memphis to New Orleans because a lot of the group wanted to do it. And I was able to get a group code from Amtrak to where I actually made enough money off the Amtrak to where I paid for my ticket. Basically, I paid for my family's tickets on the Amtrak off of just the markup that I did. So, all right, any questions, anything y'all don't quite understand, or you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can put it in the chat. All right, if there's no questions, I'm going to show you how to actually cancel the group. So say something happens and you actually have to cancel it. Right here, it says cancel group. Go in, okay. I thought I was going to do group, but due to, okay. So Ramona, you can also, depending on the cruise line, Carnival, once the booking is made, they're not going to allow you to bring it into the group. But MSC and some of the others, if you already have your 8 cabins, you can create the group. You'll just have to go through the group department and have all the booking numbers, and you can actually get to see if they can incorporate those into the group. Going to bookmark. All right, so let me go ahead and do one other thing real quick for anybody. Like I said, I always record my meetings. So if anybody wants the recording of this meeting, this is the link to my YouTube channel. That will be where all my trainings are housed. And you can go back and rewatch them. It normally takes me a day or so to get them edited. Let's see what else. I'll have to refer to this training video when groups bookings come up. And group bookings, guys, are an amazing way to make extra income. On the last group booking we did, I made over $400 on my tour conductor credit alone. And that's what I spent on board. Yeah, I bought a few drinks here and there for the group, but I took it as onboard credit. And you can do that. All you have to do is contact Archer. The cruise line, you let the cruise line know what you want to do. They'll send a form to you. You send it over to Archer. Archer will fill it, will go in and update the booking. And when you get on, you've got the onboard credit as the tour conductor credit. All right. Any other questions or anything like that before I go ahead and cancel this? And we end the training. All right. If there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead. We'll cancel this. Not interested. Cancel group. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a great afternoon. If y'all ever have problems with groups in the future, feel free to reach out. Ask your mentor, ask whoever. Because, like I said, groups are an amazing way to grow your business. All right, guys. Y'all have a great afternoon. And like I said, if anybody wants to the recording, it'll be on that YouTube channel. I'll give you just a moment to pick it up before I end the call. All right. Y'all have a great night.